Okay, so this is going to be a real simple example of how to find optimality for a perfectly competitive firm. Now, when you have a cost table like this, you know it's a perfectly competitive firm because the price is the same at all levels of output. You will recall from the explanation of the perfectly competitive market that they are price takers, so they can sell as many units as they can at the prevailing price, but the price is determined by uh, the overall market. So basically, the golden rule of microeconomics is you're going to produce where MC equals MR, because if your marginal revenue is greater than your marginal cost, there is still room for expansion. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start rounding out the table here. Now, because the price is the same, the marginal revenue will be the same. Each additional unit is selling for the same as the previous. That means that the marginal revenue for an additional unit of output is 10,000. We should also note that fixed costs do not vary with the level of output, so we can fill those in here. Easy peasy so far. Now, total cost is simply the fixed and the variable added together. So we should have 25, 29, 34, 41, 50, oops, 62, and 75. And of course, the marginal cost is the difference as you add units. Now, an important thing to keep in mind here is, let's say we were starting our table at 0. Well, we would still have those fixed costs of 20. So what we should be looking at is your change in variable here, which you're initially going to have marginal cost of 5. Then when we go from 25 to 29, that incremental increase is 4,000. 29 to 34 is 5, 7, 9, 12, and 15. All right. So at this point, we really have all we need to know in terms of finding the optimal quantity. Because again, as long as the marginal revenue exceeds the marginal cost, we will keep pumping out more product. So all we got to do is go line by line. Line 1, 10's greater than 5, keep going. Line 2, 10's greater than 4, keep going. So on. You would not move from unit 5 to unit 6. And this will be more apparent here in a second. So um, let's calculate our total revenues. Total revenues are calculated as price times quantity. So in this example, it's going to be 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay. And so how we would look at this is, we said, okay, we're going to stop at 5. We're not going to go to 6. At unit 5, we have 50,000 in revenues. Our total costs are 50,000. And so we actually have a 0 economic profit. So our profit here is normal. If we add one more unit, well, now our total revenue is 60, our total costs are 62. We actually are now incurring an economic loss. What if instead of producing 5, we stopped at 4? Well, here our total revenue would be 40, our total cost would be 41, so we are still at minus 1,000. Okay, and so that kind of should illustrate, hopefully, how you work these tables through. Now, again, because this is a perfectly competitive market, because the price doesn't change, this calculation is going to be a little bit easier to find optimality than when we deal with the imperfectly competitive firms that have a price structure that requires a drop to get more units sold.